Today's lesson is 3.2, Equivalent Fractions and Lowest Terms, which name our two objectives. We should be able to find equivalent fractions and to reduce a fraction to lowest terms. Three reasons we need to know how to use equivalent fractions is because they are used to compare, add, and subtract fractions. One way to find equivalent fractions is to use multiplication. We multiply the numerator and denominator by any whole number. So let's say I start with 3/4. I'm going to choose to multiply both the numerator and denominator by 3, and I get the equivalent fraction of 9/12. Let's try another one where they're going to give us some clues about the equivalent. I'm going to start with 4/7, and they've told me that the equivalent fraction has a numerator of 12. So I want to think about what number times 4 would equal 12, and I'm going to multiply 7 by that same number. Well, 4 times 3 is 12, so 7 times 3 is 21. I have 3/8, and they've given me a clue that the denominator of the equivalent is 16. So I think, what number times 8 is 16, and I'm going to multiply 3 by that same number. Well, 8 times 2 is 16, so 3 times 2 is 6. I want you to try these two in your notebook. Press pause while you're doing the work, and press play when you're ready to see the answers. We can also use division to find equivalent fractions by dividing the numerator and denominator by a common factor. So if I have 18/24, the first thing I want to do is find common factors of both that numerator and denominator. I'm going to just make a factor list to find those common factors. And I see that 6 is a common factor, 3 is a common factor, 2 is a common factor, and 1 is a common factor. I can choose any of those common factors to divide both the numerator and denominator by, and I can get a equivalent fraction. Let's try a couple of problems. Let's say I have 12/18 and I want to find an equivalent fraction whose denominator is 3. So I think 18 divided by what number is 3, and I want to divide 12 by that same number. Well, 18 divided by 6 is 3, so 12 divided by 6 is 2/3. Or is 2, which gives me the equivalent fraction of 2/3. This one I have 12/27, and I am going to find an equivalent fraction whose numerator is 4. So I think 12 divided by what number is 4, and I want to divide 27 by that same number. Well, 12 divided by 3 is 4, so 27 divided by 3 is 9. Our second set of problems that I'd like you to try in your notebook are here. Press pause while you're doing your work. Press play when you're ready to check your answers. Our second objective was to find the lowest terms of a fraction. Lowest terms means it's a fraction whose numerator and denominator can only be divided by 1. And we can use our greatest common factor ladder method to find lowest terms. So I write my numerator and denominator as the first level of my ladder. I find a common factor I can divide both the numbers by, in this case 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. I can only divide 2 and 3 by 1. This level then becomes my lowest terms fraction. 6/9 is equivalent to 2/3, and 2/3 is in lowest terms. Let me show you another one. Let's say I have 18/24. I need to find the greatest common factor, which will help me find the lowest terms. I can divide both 18 and 24 by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 24 divided by 3 is 8. I can divide 6 and 8 by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. The only number I can divide 3 and 4 by is 1. So this is my lowest terms. 18/24 reduced is 3/4. I want you to try these three problems in your notebook. Reduce them to lowest terms using the greatest common factor ladder method. Press play when you're ready to check your work. So in today's lesson, we worked on finding equivalent fractions and reducing fractions to lowest terms using the greatest common factor ladder method.